There has been a snag in the plan.
I've never cast it on in this way.
Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lily. If you're new here, I'm the person behind Crafts and Crumbs. And if you're not new here, thanks so much for coming back. I'm so excited that you're here. So today is going to be a very exciting video because I'm going to continue working on my Bepeu blouse. And you know what? I actually think I'm going to finish it. And if I do finish it, you'll already have known by the title because it will be a project vlog of most of the Bepeu blouse. I did already start working on it and there is another video up on my channel about it. So if you haven't seen it up until now, make sure to check it out so you'll be all caught up in where I am in the sweater. But basically I'm almost near done with the body of the sweater and then I can start working on the neckline and all those kinds of things and the sleeves and finish the sweater. So I have a bunch of knitting time coming up, which I'm really excited about. It's nice, it's springy out, the weather is finally changing, so I'm definitely really excited to keep working on my sweater and hopefully finish it. So far I have been really enjoying this pattern. It's so easy and breezy. I love stockinette and the yarn is turning out exactly how I envisioned it, which is just so satisfying. So grab your current whip, grab your current project, whatever crafty thing you're working on, let me know in the comments down below what you're working on because I'd love to hear about it. And let's keep working on our projects together. That I have been working on the cast on for the neckline and it is so cool. I think it's really interesting how you think that not that you know everything, but that you understand a fair amount of a construction of a garment until you learn something new like this. I've never done an open end cast on. I've never cast it on in this way for a V neckline shape. And I think it is so cool. I needed to sit and think about it for a few days because I tried to understand and I didn't really get it. And then I had to take it apart and I tried again, I didn't really get it. And then I just decided to not knit for a day or two and see how I feel and just kind of mull it over and think about how I can do it and why don't I understand and what's missing kind of in my brain to connect the dots. And it really did work. I mean, I think that's really interesting, especially for our everyday lives as well, where if we don't get something, a lot of times we'll just try again right away, which is great that we want to try again, but sometimes your brain just needs a minute to let it soak in and do all the connections within yourself because you know how to do it. That isn't the problem. You just have to connect between the different kind of orders that you're given to make it happen. And after I thought about it for a day or two, it was like the other shoe fell. All of a sudden I knew what to do and I understood how to do it. But I didn't watch the videos again. I just understood how to do it. And then I watched the video and I managed to pick up the stitches and I'm successfully working on the neckline for the collar now. So I just wanted to hop on here to share that with you guys. If you're frustrated that you don't get something, whether it's with knitting, sewing, crafting, anything like that, or also just in life, sometimes if you're new to something, and even if you're not new, I wouldn't say that I'm new to knitting, but I'm new to this kind of knitting. I've never done this kind of shaping before, so it makes sense that it'll take a minute for me to understand, and I have the knowledge within myself to figure it out. Sometimes you just need a minute and to take time and give yourself the time to figure it out within yourself without reading the instructions again and again, because sometimes that just isn't going to help and it's going to make you more frustrated. I learned that the hard way every single time, and I always find that taking a day or two to just think about it and try to figure it out within myself always works. So I would definitely recommend that, and I definitely want to keep going on the collar because it's so cool to see how it works up. So I'm really excited to keep working on it.
I just finished binding off on the neckline, and I'm so happy with the way that it looks. I loved working on the neckline band. I loved working on the neckline itself. I thought it was so interesting, and it's a construction that I've never done, never tried anything like that, and I'll talk about it more at the end of the video, but I'm really happy with picking this pattern. So I also just finished picking up the stitches for the first sleeve that I'm going to work on, and in the pattern it said to pick up a certain amount of stitches and then work a few rounds of decreases, where you decrease on the first stitch and on the last stitch of the round. But I picked up one in every stitch around the sleeve, and I only got to about 8 stitches less than what she asked for. So I'm going to be doing less decreases to make sure that I get to the same amount of stitches at the end of the sleeve, so that I also won't be doing a lot of decreases in the beginning of the sleeve and then none towards the end, and it'll look kind of wonky. So I've distributed them differently and done a bit of math to make sure that it'll distribute correctly. Let's see how my math skills are and if it'll actually work out, but that's the hope for now. So I'm going to start working on the sleeve, and I have a feeling it's going to go by really quickly, because just working stockinette is always so fun and goes by so quickly. So let's get going on the first sleeve, and I'll check in with you guys when I finish the sleeve, or when I switch my needle sizes to start working on the split hem, which I also think is going to be really interesting. I think it's pretty much the same as working one of the front bands, just much shorter, but I'll be sure to let you guys know when I get to that point. I think I'm at a good place to stop working on the sleeve and start working on the split hem, and then I can start working on the ribbing. I'm really happy with the way that it's looking. I did the proper decreases for the sleeve and got to the proper amount of stitches, so that's definitely going well, and it worked up so quickly. I think I made it in a day or two. I did modify the sleeve by also making it a little bit shorter than what it was supposed to be, just because I think my arms are a little shorter and I don't want it to be super long, because my gauge is also slightly bigger, so I'm sure that it's going to grow a bit in blocking. So I want to make sure that I leave space for that as well. So I think I'll start working on the split hem, and then I'll just have the ribbing, and then I'll be done with the first sleeve. And I think that the next sleeve is also going to go by really quickly, so I'll definitely be finishing the sweater suit, which is really exciting. Happy to report that I finished the first sleeve of the sweater, which I'm very excited about. I am plowing straight through Sleeve Island, and I could not be more excited about it. It turned out really good. The math calculations that I had to do for the sleeve actually worked out really well, and the sleeve turned out really perfectly, I think, lengthwise. Also, for some reason, I remembered that I like my sleeves to be 49 centimeters, but I don't think that's true. So I shortened it quite a bit, and I got a great length for me, and I think it'll block out and get a little bit longer as well, which is going to be fine. The split hem at the bottom of the sleeve was really interesting, and after I already did the construction of the front bands and the neckline, it was really easy
easy and went by really quickly, and she also has a video tutorial on how to do it, which was really great. So I really appreciate in this pattern that she had 2 video tutorials for like the difficult parts, and everything else was just stuck in it in the round and went by really quickly. So I already finished that, and I started on my second sleeve, so hopefully I'll finish that in a few days, and I'm just shy of a month. So I don't know if I'll get it done in exactly a month, but maybe it'll be a few days over. But I think that's pretty good so far for a sweater. So let's see how long it takes me to do the second sleeve. And all I have to do now is do the second sleeve in the exact same way that I did the first sleeve. So hopefully I can replicate it. I feel like a lot of the times, maybe it's just me, but like when I do the first sleeve, I'm like, oh, it's okay, whatever, however it comes out. That's just the way that it'll be. But then the second sleeve, I want to make sure that it's the same as the first sleeve. So I write everything down really specifically so that I know what to do on the second sleeve so that I can replicate it to be basically the exact same so it won't look too weird. I do think that I might close the hems a little bit, both on the split hem for the sleeve and on the neckline. I think that they're slightly too open for my liking, so I think I might do that, but I'll wait until the sweater is all blocked and ready to see what I think, if it's too open or if it looks good like that. But other than that, the sleeve is going really smoothly and the sweater is going really smoothly, so let's continue on working the second sleeve, and I'll check back in with you guys when I'm done with the sweater. Guys, so there has been a snag in the plan, and I think I did something really stupid. So I am working on the split hem for the sleeve, and I didn't count my stitches before I started the split hem because, okay, I picked up the correct amount of stitches. I picked up the same amount of stitches that I picked on the other sleeve, so I didn't feel the need to count it because I did the exact same thing as I did on the first sleeve, so I thought it was going to be the exact same. And then all of a sudden I was like, maybe I should count my stitches while I'm working the split hem already. Counted my stitches. I have 4 stitches over. Where did these stitches come from? I have no idea. It's too late to do anything about it now. I'm gonna just keep going, and I guess I'll have one sleeve that's 4 stitches bigger than the other. I hope I won't feel it. I hope it won't be noticeable. Probably not. I'm sure it'll be fine, but now I'm just feeling really stupid that I didn't count my stitches before. So here's your daily reminder to count your stitches, even if you think that you cast on the exact same amount of stitches, which I did. So here's hoping it looks the same. Okay, so I have finished the sweater. So disclaimer, this is before blocking, before weaving in ends. I just cast it off. So this is before I have done anything to kind of give it those finishing touches. But I think it looks so cute. I love the V-neck. I love the split hems. I do think I'm gonna need to close them up a little bit. They're just kind of really open and don't give it kind of the shape that I want, I think. So I think I will close them, but I'll do that after blocking once it's already all dried. I am also happy to report that the issue with the sleeves that I thought would happen because I added 4 extra stitches by accident was totally fine. You can't tell the difference at all, so I'm definitely really happy and pleased about that. But yeah, I think it looks so cute. I think you can style it really nicely, and I'm so happy with how the neckline turned out. I'm so happy with how the sleeves turned out. The yarn is really nice. I'm excited to see what it's going to be like after blocking because right now it is a little bit itchy. I am wearing a tank top underneath, so that does help, but I wonder if the blocking will help. So here's hoping. So let's go weave in the ends, block the sweater, and then we can do a full sweater review. Here we are. I am wearing my finished Bepeu blouse. I'm so happy with the result, and I'm very excited to dive in and tell you guys all about the process, all about the pattern, and all of my thoughts on the pattern. So this pattern is basically an all-around stockinette pattern except for the front bands and the neckline, which is worked in obviously a V-neck kind of shape, and also a split hem on the sleeves and 2x2 ribbing along the bottom of the body. So in general, I'll say that I really enjoyed this pattern. I loved the construction, I love the process, guys. I loved her videos. They were very, very helpful, and I definitely felt like I needed them, and they were exactly what I needed when I needed it. So I definitely really appreciated that. Her videos are in Danish, but the closed captions are in English, which definitely helps because I don't know Danish. So just something to pay attention to if you're doing this pattern. So about the pattern in general, as I said, I really, really enjoyed it. I will say, however, that I am not so happy with the split hem. It just kind of looks funky to me. I don't really get it. I really think I did it exactly the way that the pattern said to do it, so I'm a little confused how it was supposed to be. I am considering sewing the hems closed and just have a regular ribbed sleeve, which I'm totally fine with. I don't feel like it's a detail that'll really be missed because I feel like the front bands and the neckline really is the main part of the show of this sweater, so I don't feel too badly about it. I do feel a little sad about the extra work that I put in to do the split hem, and I just feel like it's really just kind of sloppy. I don't really know. I think maybe mine ended up being, I don't know, a little too open. Maybe I could close it a little bit, but I think I might just close them and have a regular 2x2 ribbed for the sleeves. The body of the sweater, love, super great. I love the length, I love everything about it, and I also love the v-neck. I'm very specific when it comes to my sweaters and how I want them to fit, and I also really care about it kind of not falling off my shoulders, which I do feel like might be a little bit of a problem in this sweater just because it is a v-neck and kind of more open. So I am also considering closing a bit of the front bands as well, which might help with that, and that just might be the construction of the sweater, and that's totally fine. I am really happy with the v-neck, and I wanted to do a v-neck sweater, so that may just be something that I have to figure out how I want to wear properly so that the shoulders kind of won't slide off. Maybe layering it with a shirt underneath will really help with that, so I'll definitely be trying that. Other than that, the construction of the sweater is really, really easy, really went by quickly. I really enjoyed it, so I would definitely recommend it. I would say construction wise, it is a beginner kind of pattern, but because of the front bands, the neckline, all the split hems, those kind of details, they are a little bit more difficult. So I would say this could be a beginner sweater if you have patience for those kinds of things when you don't really understand. But I would say this is kind of beginner plus just because of the neckline. Everything else is super easy. It's just stockinette and then 2x2 ribbing. So I have the pattern here with me because I wrote down all the information about my process with the pattern. So I'd love to go over them. I knit the size 2 and I'm very happy with how it turned out. Love the positive ease. It's definitely really flowy and comfy, but still I think really, really flattering. I started it about a month ago, so I finished it in almost exactly a month, like a month and 2 days, which I think is really, really good. I did knit on this basically exclusively. I didn't really do anything else, and I really enjoyed the process. I just wanted to keep knitting. I absolutely love the yarn. It's so pretty. The color, I've said this multiple times, is exactly how I envisioned it, which is so satisfying when you imagine something to be one way and then it turns out to be exactly the way that you envisioned it. So I find that very satisfying, and I really wanted a sweater like this, so I'm very, very happy with the result. So this is what the two yarns look like together before I started knitting them, and then this is how they kind of mold together. I'm very, very pleased with them. So far, I don't see any pilling whatsoever, which I'm very, very pleased about. I'm really excited to keep wearing this sweater, and I love how the two colors really work together because I mentioned this in the video where I got the yarn that they don't exactly match. The Kid Silk is just a black, and then Drops Nord is more of a kind of dark charcoaly gray, but I was really excited to see how they work together, and I was not disappointed. They really, really did work together and came out in the color that I exactly imagined, which is not so satisfying. So the Drops Nord is color number 6 and the Drops Kid Silk is color number 2. If you're interested, they'll be linked down below to Wool Warehouse, which I absolutely love. I always order from them, definitely recommend. So for this pattern, I ended up using 5 balls of the Drops Nord and 4 balls of the Drops Kid Silk. As usual, I completely over ordered. I don't know what is wrong with me, why I always over order. Again, I'm still sticking to I would prefer to over order than under order, but it is getting a little annoying because now I have to figure out what to do with all these smaller amounts of yarn. So hopefully I'll be making some more summery tops with them because I would love to use up the yarn that I have. So as for a cost breakdown of the project, I am going to be calculating the yarn that I actually used, not just the one that I ordered, because as I said, I way over ordered. So I ordered 8 balls of the Drops Nord, which I completely didn't need. As I said, I used 5. So the 5 balls of Drops Nord were 10 pounds, and I ordered 7 balls of the Drops Kid Silk and I ended up using 4. So that came out to be 13 pounds. So altogether the yarn for this project came out to be 23 pounds, which I think is really, really good. Again, I do have a bunch left over, but that's okay. I'll use it for something else. As for the pattern itself, it costs about 7 pounds. So that was also a pretty good price. And I paid for shipping about 6 pounds for all of the yarn that I ordered. And I ordered not just these, so it definitely split into being a very small amount. So all in all for the project, I ordered 31 pounds, not including the shipping, because it's split into all the different yarns that I ordered. So I think that's an incredibly good price for this project, and I'm definitely really, really pleased with it price-wise. And in total of the project, I am really, really pleased with it. I love the design. I think it was so, so interesting, and I definitely learned a lot from it, which is kind of the goal, and just to really enjoy the process. Definitely really enjoyed the process. I don't love the issue with the split hem, but I think that once I sew the split hems closed, I think that'll be much, much better. I also ended up making the sleeves way too long. The sleeves also blocked out to be kind of long, so I am considering closing the hem and then folding the ribbing over, and that I think will help with that. I'm also a little bit confused about that in the pattern because she said to make it very long, and I shortened it by about 5 centimeters and it was still kind of long. So I'm a little confused about that, but that might just be my measurements and kind of maybe the way that I calculated things. But I'm not too upset about it. I think really once I sew the hem closed and fold it down, I think it'll be really, really cute. It's still really nice now, but I do think those things will also help. So that was my whole process with the Bepeu blouse. I hope you enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend this project. I enjoyed it very, very much, and I do love my final garment, so I'm very excited to wear it, and hopefully I'll still get to wear it before it gets too hot here. It is very, very springy and nice, so I do think that I'll be able to wear it a few times before it gets a little too hot over here. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments of my process with the Bepeu blouse and of the finished garment, so definitely let me know your thoughts. I'm also really excited to start casting on my next project, which is going to be a more summery project. I was originally planning to make the woodlark sweater, and I started making the swatch for it, but it just kind of feels a little too fiddly for me right now, and I think I want something a little more simple and maybe more geared towards summer. So I am going to start making a summer tee, which I'm really excited about, and I will of course be filming the process for that, so definitely stay tuned for that. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my progress with my next projects, as well as me getting back into sewing and all other kinds of crafts, which I'm very excited about. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this project and also the projects that you guys are working on, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!